Joining me to talk about that entire journey, we have Mike McKinstry, children's book author and host producer of the Bassquatch Hunter. Thank you for joining us, Mike.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here always.
Hey, man, so I want to just apologize. I know you went through it over the weekend getting here. This tech outage, the flights. Can you just first and foremost, how did this recent tech outage and flight cancellations ultimately affect your travel plans coming back home to West Bloomfield?
Oh man, so I had a 3-day trip in Florida, and I ended up spending 4 extra days there, including a full night at the airport on the floor. 5 flights canceled. I had 11 delays total, and I tried like 16 different flight options in that time. It was a crazy 4 days, but the bonus is I met some really cool people. I got to make a positive impact on a lot of people I met, and I met about 30 different employees. So I got to hear a lot of the stories about what was actually happening, like the real story behind the scenes, what the crew was going through.
Right.
And it kind of took away some of the sting, you know what I mean? But I met some I call them single serving friends that I meet on airplanes all the time. And I got to meet some friends that I spent a few days with actually. So it was a lot of fun.
Single serving friends is I might have to take that. I like that. Yeah, hey, for the moment, we're here, let's be friends. But okay, so you were in the atmosphere of a lot of crazy things going on. Now, it seemed like from the photos, you had a very positive attitude, Mike, but can you describe just the scene overall with other people and their reactions to the flight cancellations?
Oh yeah, it was like an apocalypse movie. It was seriously crazy. There was people sleeping on top of benches and then underneath the benches, and then people sleeping on top of like big potted planters and stuff. Like there's people everywhere, just scattered. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people were displaced every hour. So it was like walking into the airport, and Orlando is a pretty big airport. Walking in, there's like barricades of luggage with people sleeping in the middle of them, like at the entrance, like all the way. So it's like I walked into that in the very first place, and for my first flight, and I kind of see why. Every day I had a flight canceled, and unfortunately, you got to stay there and see if your flight makes it or not because they'll be delayed, 15 times before they call it cancel. So every day was pretty crazy. A lot of people were angry. I saw there was a few arrests that happened. A few people got a little bit violent and angry with the staff, which is, I took a little control of that situation a few times because I felt like the staff was going through it with us. They didn't go to work that day to plan on being there for 14-hour shifts and dealing with hundreds of people screaming at them either. So. There was some things that a lot of people were doing to take care of some of the attendants and the staff, and it's unfortunate the way it works. Yeah. It's unfortunate the way things happen.
It's all about perspective, man. And Mike, let me tell you, we need more people with that perspective right there, because you will go into it literally just thinking about yourself, upset at the people that work there. They just clocked in. They just want to go do their job and go home. So you can't get frustrated with them. They don't invent the computers and things of that nature. So right here with us on the Splash Live, Mike McKinstry, children's book author and host producer of the Bassquatch Hunter, talking about his journey documented through the airport at Orlando, coming back home to West Bloomfield. Very unfortunate. How do you feel like this type of event happening will affect other people as well as your future travel plans?
So they did say that they'll probably have this cleared up in within a week or so. But I think the lesson that I hope the airlines have learned from this is they need to have a backup redundancy plan. And the crew is just as frustrated, if not more frustrated, than the passengers, because we might have missed one destination, but some of these crew members were missing. One of our attendants missed her birthday that she's supposed to be home because she was displaced in Minneapolis and that had to go to Houston. And what happened is their software went down, meaning their employee registration software went down. So there wasn't a shortage of planes. The planes were there for every flight that I missed. Even actually, there was no crew because the crews are allowed to work, 14-hour shifts. I think I was told, whether they're working or not, clock in for 14 hours. So if they're waiting for 5 hours to have to manually try to register for a flight because they have to wait on hold for 5 hours, just like we do, if they have to try to check in for 5 hours and they've already been working for 9 hours, that fifth hour, we lose them. They're clocked out. So we had a few planes that had 2 pilots, 3 flight attendants, and we need 4 flight attendants for a 200-seat plane in order to evacuate, in a timely manner and take care of the plane correctly. We were waiting for 1 flight attendant for 8 hours, and we had a flight attendant show up, but by the time she was allowed to register, she clocked out. Then one of the pilots lost their time too, and that happened multiple times over the last 4 days. And I started learning about how the process worked and talked to some amazing people, some pilots and flight attendants who were just like, we're exhausted. Like, we're not supposed to be here. We're in Florida and we're supposed to be in California, or we're supposed to be, but no one knows where we are. Yeah. Like, the whole tracking system was down. So it was extremely unfortunate. I mean, I had to get I only got hotels one night. I had to sleep on the floor of the airport every night. Every hotel was booked for within an hour of the airport. There was no rental cars; those were all gone. People were renting U-Hauls to drive home. There was no option to leave. Even the restaurants were running out of supplies because they were overwhelmed, and it was a pretty extreme situation.
Right.
And there was even nowhere to even sit. That was the craziest part for me. Is like, I was looking around and I ended up sleeping in front of an Outback Steakhouse on the floor at the airport because there was nowhere to go. So it was really unfortunate. But like I said, at the same time, there's always that saying where you can make lemonade, but I look at it differently, where instead of making lemonade, make friends. Because going through stuff alone is terrible. Going through stuff, meeting new people, there's a reason why we're on a journey.
That's a good point.
And eventually we'll figure it out. There was some reason why I was stranded. I met some new friends, and I still stay in touch with about 4 or 5 people that I met. And we're actually planning on doing lunch and dinner soon and everything. Now that we all made it home in the last 24 hours finally. So, it's a cool experience. I mean, just to get to, I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot, and I hope that the airlines also learned a lot and they have a redundancy plan for when next time this happens.
Yes, please. Now we're used to technology making things more convenient. But in this case, we need a backup just in case technology is not convenient. Hey, Mike, I want to thank you again for your time. Children's book author for the Adventures of Sasquatch series, as well as host and producer for the Bassquatch Hunter on the Pursuit channel, YouTube, and Discovery channel, as well as West Bloomfield resident. We want to appreciate you for your time and thank you for getting home safely, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.